Okay, so fresh off Oleksandr Usyk stopping Daniel Dubois in the fifth round, we're going to talk about that fight. Usyk becomes a two-time undisputed heavyweight champion, still undefeated. Absolutely took Daniel Dubois to school, in my opinion. Taught him how to box, not taught him how to box, but cooked him, bro. Like Daniel Dubois really wasn't even able to get going, in my opinion. Dubois at times was throwing punches, and he was definitely a live body, and didn't. He wasn't there to just fold as soon as Usyk showed, showed that he's got something, But Usyk just didn't give him the chance. Didn't give him a chance. Didn't stand in one place. Didn't allow Dubois to get any momentum going, to put his punches together. Because he knew that once you get Daniel Dubois and he's comfortable and he's not fearful of anything of your power anymore, he can really take over a fight and he can stop guys. We've seen Daniel Dubois stop a number of boxers. A number of Anthony Joshua, Gerald Miller, a number of guys. Daniel Dubois stopped a lot of guys. One of the biggest punches in the heavyweight division. But he couldn't even land clean on Usyk. Right? Usyk boxed perfectly. Right? And you don't hear me talk about boxers like this often. But Usyk boxed perfectly. In this fight, you would see, everyone knows Daniel Dubois got a monstrous right hand. Everyone knows that. So what does Usyk do? And it sounds simple, but not many people have been able to do this to Daniel Dubois. The people that have beaten Daniel Dubois haven't really outboxed him. Apart from Usyk, of course, in the first fight. But Joe Joyce was landing power punches, and I think it was an eye injury that stopped Daniel Dubois. But only Usyk's been able to outbox Daniel Dubois. It's not an easy thing to do. But like I said, you've got Daniel Dubois, who's got a monstrous right hand. Usyk used boxing fundamentals, used his boxing IQ. Okay, the right hand is the dangerous weapon. I'm circling to my left. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how many boxers wouldn't do this. They would know to do it, they would train to do it, but when they're in the moment, in the ring, under the bright lights, at Wembley, in front of 90,000 people, they freeze. They can't do it. Their training goes out the window. They're a deer in the headlights, not Usyk. Because he's been there, done this a million times before at this point. Nearly 400 amateur fights. There's nothing any pro's going to be able to do to him that he's not seen a million times already. And he takes care of his body. As far as, we're all concerned, he lives a good life. He doesn't do drugs or alcohol, or he's not a big partier. He's dedicated to the sport and takes care of his body. So of course, even at 38, he's now still got amazing physicality, and he's got all that years of boxing experience. How are you going to stop him? And if you've just fought the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division, Daniel Dubois, and he couldn't knock you out, the only route to victory, because you can't outbox Usyk, but anyone can get knocked out. But if he's just beaten the biggest puncher in the division, what chances has everyone else got, right? But many times throughout this fight, I remember it was in the third round, Dubois was trying to apply pressure, and in about 3 movements, Usyk had switched it, and he now took the centre and putting Daniel Dubois on the back foot. Now I think it's the sort of thing that the casual boxing fan wouldn't even be able to really notice, but I'm seeing Usyk circle and pivot, and then like I said, within 3 movements, he's now in the centre and applying the pressure on Dubois. Not many people are able to do that to Dubois. Like I said, it sounds simple. Okay, well, you just move away from the power hand. It sounds simple, I know. But actually doing it to another world-class opponent like Daniel Dubois is another thing. Right? So he takes the centre, he's applying pressure, and now he's put Daniel Dubois in a situation where Daniel Dubois doesn't want to be. Daniel Dubois is not a counter-puncher. He's got enough power to be a counter-puncher, like we saw when he knocked out Anthony Joshua. He walked Anthony Joshua onto a hook, I believe, and knocked him out. Dubois is capable of doing that, because again, Dubois is another guy. He's an accomplished amateur who's been around the London amateur boxing scene for a while, and he's got a lot of experience. And he's got a lot of power, we know that. But Usyk just broke him down, found his openings, and then when Dubois left himself open in an exchange, Usyk took advantage of it, and that was it. That was it. And you can't do that against Usyk. If you leave yourself open like that, Usyk will stop you. He nearly stopped Tyson Fury. He rocked him, had him against the ropes. He sent Tony Bellew to the shadow realm. It was similar to that, to be honest. Not as bad, because Dubois was able to get up, but it was similar to that, where you've got a guy and you've just seen the opening and you take it, and bang, and he's out. He's done. What a performance from Oleksandr Usyk. And maybe this is a topic for another video. It probably is. But Usyk 100% deserves to be in the GOAT conversations. Boxing GOATs. Because there's a number, particularly at heavyweight, right? There's a number of guys you can talk about. Oh, well, this guy's a legend, this guy's a legend. Look at the competition they faced. And look at the competition Usyk's faced and how he's beaten them. And then we'll talk, right? But an amazing performance from Usyk. I said this would be a mismatch because Usyk is such a better boxer than him. And he pushes a pace that no heavyweight can match. Tyson Fury came close, very close. But even that in and of itself speaks to how good Usyk is. The fact that only Tyson Fury was the only one that was able to come close. And Tyson Fury is a one-of-a-kind boxer as well. No one else is even able to come close. Usyk wins again. Like I said, a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion, 3-time undisputed champion, undefeated at cruiserweight, and now, like I said, 2 times undisputed at heavyweight. What a boxer, what a performance, what a night it was. The undercard was pretty dead, but the main event made up for it. That's boxing for you, though. A great win for Oleksandr Usyk. And like I said, a mismatch. Because Dubois can land a big shot, but he's just not a good enough boxer to beat Usyk. He's not. But yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys thought of the fight. But yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.